Good afternoon. So today we're going to talk about forgiveness. Okay, so forgiveness is a noun, and it means the action or process of forgiving or being forgiven. It also means to stop feeling anger toward things or something, to stop blaming someone, um, to stop feeling angry about something, and also to stop requiring payment of. Like you can also forgive a debt. So there's different forms of forgiveness. But to me, forgiveness is a gift that we give to ourselves and the grace that we extend to others. And so if you want to be able to forgive someone for something, but you're having a little trouble with the true forgiveness, like sometimes we say, oh, I forgave her or him for that, but you truly didn't. You can say it because it works at the time, but then something else will remind you of whatever happened or come up again later, and your actions or your emotions toward it then will let you know that forgiveness was not truly what took place. So just some tips or some reminders or from some helpful hints on how to forgive is what I have for you today. The first step would be trying to move on, which means the history of whatever took place that you want to be able to forgive. You would make sure that those are no longer in your physical reality. So you're going to move on past those things, put them behind you, so to speak, and just move forward. That's one way of forgiveness. If you have truly forgiven in your heart, people can do that easily sometimes, but sometimes they cannot. But you don't allow them to be there in your mind, causing trouble for you for your future moments, is what that means. Also, reconnecting with the Spirit, like making a new agreement with yourself to stay connected to the Spirit, even when it seems to be the most difficult thing to do. If you do this, you'll always allow whatever degree of perfect harmony that your body was designed for to proliferate. So, pretty much that's just saying that kind of like the let go, let God thing. So a lot of people say they just let it go. And to me, that's not a form of forgiveness. I used to think it was because I used to say, I never really said that I forgave somebody, and that's what that was. But I do say a lot, I just let it go. And for the research that I did to speak on this topic, it's under forgiveness. But to me, that's not forgiveness. Like I said, I am one who thought it was until somebody brought to my attention that letting something go is not really forgiveness. It's not really resolving it or working it out. It's just suppressing it pretty much. But anyway, it is under the topic of forgiveness in the research I did, so that's why I'm discussing it. Also, not going to bed angry. That's not a form of forgiveness, but that's a step towards the process of it. Because if there's something that's bothering you, an issue that's been weighing heavy on your mind and those type of things, if you go to bed with that on your mind, more than likely you're not going to sleep good. You're going to wake up with the same feelings and emotions toward it and all that. So the best thing to do would be to try to either find forgiveness in your heart or speak with the person or some kind of way work it out and resolve the issue before bedtime. And so that way you don't have to sleep with those things on your mind. But you can switch the focus from blaming others to understanding yourself. Sometimes when you want to forgive somebody, you might want to think first, well, what was my part in this? Because maybe I have some work to do on myself before I say that I need to be forgiving somebody else or, or vice versa, So whenever you're upset over the conduct of others, take the focus off those you're holding responsible for your inner distress and look at self. So you can shift your mental energy to allowing yourself to be with whatever you're feeling. Let the experience be as it may without blaming others for your feelings. But don't blame yourself either. Just allow the experience to unfold and tell yourself that no one has the power to make you uneasy without your consent. So you can, this one right here falls in the same category I just spoke on pretty much. Take responsibility for your part. Remove and blame means that you never assign responsibility to someone else for what you're experiencing. So it means if you're willing to say, I may not understand why I feel this way, why I have this illness, why I'm the victim, or why I had this accident, but I'm willing to say without any guilt or resentment that I own it. I live with and I'm responsible for having it in my life. And so that reminds me of, you know how people will say sometimes, I'm this way because he made me that way, or, I don't want to be abused, but I am, or I don't want to be on drugs, but I am. And I understand addiction and all those things, get into something completely different. But all in all, on those things and those topics or those different types of scenarios, it's pretty much all about what you allow, because no one can do to you what you don't allow them to do. If you're in a situation you don't want to be in, you will stay in it until you make up in your mind you truly want out, and then you'll get out. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's a whole nother topic we can get into another time, but it falls under the same thing, kind of, pretty much. In the midst of arguments or disagreements, practice giving rather than taking before you exit. Giving involves leaving the ego behind. While it wants to win and show that it's superior by being contrary and disrespectful, your toe nature wants to be at peace and live in harmony. So sometimes, you're into it with somebody and it becomes this thing of who's going to get the last word in, who's going to prove the other one wrong and all that kind of stuff. So in other words, take the high road, quit trying to make it a challenge, quit trying to, what do they say? Quit trying to updo them on one, or what is the word they say? Trying to get one in on them, or, just learn to walk away, let things be what they are. And another thing, every action does not require a response. So that's where the part that I just mentioned a second ago, where it said you got to get the last word in and all that kind of stuff. Every action doesn't require a response. Sometimes somebody can say something and you might be just sitting there, just listening to them, just going on and on in your mind, waiting for them to finish so you can fire away with whatever you want to say back to them. But there are times when less is more. Like, you might not respond at all or say nothing, and that might have a bigger impact on the person than if you had actually fired off on them like you thought you was going to while they was talking, and you was getting ready, building up, thinking, all right, I got you. When you get done, getting ready to go ahead and let them have it real good. Sometimes less is more. So if you don't say anything at all, it might come out better in some cases. It just depends on the situation, what it is. So stop looking for occasions to be offended. Sometimes people say they forgave somebody for something because others around them want to hear that they forgave them, or they think in their mind that they forgave them. But the very minute that person you forgave does something that you can take away as being offensive, you jump right on it. That lets you know that your forgiveness was not from the heart. It was not real. Because if it was, then there's hardly anything that they could do again that you won't reevaluate or evaluate properly first before you take it as offensive. And so when you live at or below ordinary levels of awareness, you spend a great deal of time and energy finding opportunities to be offended. A news report, a rude stranger, some cursing, a sneeze, a black cloud, just about anything will do it if you're looking for an occasion to be offended. Become a person who refuses to be offended by anyone, anything, or any set of circumstances. If you have enough faith in your own beliefs, you'll find that it's impossible to be offended by the beliefs and conduct of others. So, refrain from judgment. If you stop judging and simply become an observer, you will know inner peace. With that sense of inner peace, you'll find yourself happier and free of the negative energy and resentment. A bonus is that you'll find that others are more attracted to you. A peaceful person attracts peaceful energy. And so I think that's a good piece right there, a good statement. So be around good people, be good people and be of good people. And so that's like people say that you are like those that you hang around. You know, if you're hanging around a bunch of this kind of people, to me, that doesn't always mean you're that kind of person. It means that you are diverse in your selection of friends, that you got a bunch of different types of friends who all do different things. And some of them that I have, I would never want people to think that I do what they do just because I hang with them, you know, but people think that sometimes. So it is what it is. But anyway, if I'm to be a being of love, living from my highest self, that means that love is all I have inside of me and all that I have to give away. If someone I love chooses to be something other than what my ego would prefer, I send them the ingredients of my highest self by encouraging them, lifting them up, and spreading love. That's my message. I got to take this call. Have a good day. Thanks.